This could be you standing behind this deer next year. Don't miss out on these great opportunities. Visit us at sportsmenna.com.
Mike is in Ohio, on the lookout for a big buck.
You know, after Cameron's hunt was done and he'd headed home with his brother, I started really hunting seriously myself. And it wasn't long before I got on a buck that we had seen the previous year, and he had absolutely blown up. Sick. You ain't gonna believe this. I just put the horns together. He turned around and he took off. He was a narrow rack, not super wide, but he had 12 points, and boy, he had a row of tines. That's the buck I'm after. I had to go out by myself one night. My son Luke couldn't come out with me, and I loaded up everything. I got in one of the ground blinds. I saw a really, really good 8-point. And he comes out in the field. I look at him, he's one of these unique animals. I've never shot a buck that stood that tall on his head before. And I kept saying to myself, don't you come over here. Don't you dare come over here. Because he was one of those kind of bucks that I really would have shot. But all I kept seeing was this big 12-point in the back of my head. And don't you know, he walked right over to where we was at. There was feeding in a food plot. They were right in front of me. I filmed that buck for 20 minutes. He gave me most probably 8 or 9 really good shots. I never picked my bow up. And it was the mistake. You know, when everybody says, God, I hope I don't regret that, I regretted that. I let this buck go. I found a shed to his right side, which was his weakest side. I scored it, doubled it, give it 17 inches. This buck made 156 as an 8-point. Great deer. Should have shot him. Everybody was getting on to me for not doing it. But you know, there's a lesson in this. If I would have shot him, there'd have been a good chance I would have seen that big 12. So what do? I've learned that lesson before. I decided I wasn't going to shoot him. About 2 weeks after that, I saw another real good buck, and he was a mature, maybe a 5.5, 6.5-year-old deer, and he had trash on him. And I never really did get him close enough, but one night he came in and it was getting dark, and he made it closer and closer. I'd call to him, I'd rattle, I'd grunt, I'd bleat, do everything I could, and I called him closer and closer. And right at the last minute, I had a couple of does walk in front of me, and they took that buck out of the picture. I mean, he was coming, saw those does, and followed those does out of it. So that was a little bit unlucky. I would have shot that buck. He had non-typical points. He had about 5, 6 non-typical points on one side and just one on the other, but he had a lot of mass and an older deer. He was definitely a shooter. I ended up eating one of my tags, but it was still a good hunt.
Don't miss out on these great opportunities. Visit us at sportsmenna.com.